Today is August 27th. These are most important events for this day through history. On this day in 1963, is born downtown Julie Brown, a London-based actress, Sirius XM DJ and former MTV VJ, who is most known as the host of Club MTV. On this day in 1981 is born Patrick J. Adams, a Canadian actor, best known for playing Mike Ross, a brilliant college dropout turned lawyer in USA Network's hit TV series Suits. On this day in 1961, is born Tom Ford, an American fashion designer and film director. He gained international fame for his turnaround of Gucci and the creation of the Tom Ford label. On this day in 1832, Black Hawk, leader of the Sauk tribe of Native Americans, surrenders to U.S. authorities, ending the Black Hawk War. He was a war leader and warrior of the Sauk American Indian tribe, in what is now the Midwest of the United States. Although he had inherited an important historic medicine bundle from his father, he was not a hereditary civil chief. Black Hawk earned his status as a war chief or captain by his actions, leading raiding and war parties as a young man, and a band of Sauk warriors during the Black Hawk War of 1832. Black Hawk died on October 3, 1838 after 2 weeks of illness. He was buried on the farm of his friend James Jordan on the north bank of the Des Moines River in Davis County. The Kellogge-Briand Pact was a 1928 international agreement, in which signatory states promised not to use war to resolve disputes or conflicts of whatever nature or of whatever origin they may be, which may arise among them. Parties failing to abide by this promise should be denied of the benefits furnished by this treaty. It was signed by Germany, France and the United States on August 27, 1928, and by most other nations soon after. Sponsored by France and the US, the pact renounced the use of war and called for the peaceful settlement of disputes. Similar provisions were incorporated into the Charter and other treaties, and it became a stepping stone to a more activist American policy. It is named after its authors, United States Secretary of State Frank Kellogg and French Foreign Minister Aristide Briand. On this day in 1939, the Heinkel He-178 became the world's first aircraft to fly under turbojet power with test pilot Eric Warsitz at the controls. It was a private venture by the German Heinkel Company in accordance with director Ernst Heinkel's emphasis on developing technology for high-speed flight. This flight had been preceded by a short hop 3 days earlier. The aircraft was a success, however, speeds were limited to 598 km per hour at the proposed service altitude, and combat endurance was only 10 minutes. Heinkel had developed the turbojet engine and the testbed aircraft in great secrecy. They were kept secret even from the German Air Force. The He-178-51 airframe was placed on display at the Berlin Air Museum, where it was destroyed in an air raid in 1943. On this day in 1962, the Mariner 2 spacecraft was launched from Cape Canaveral, and passed as close as 34,773 kilometers to Venus on December 14, 1962. Mariner 2, an American space probe to Venus, was the first robotic space probe to conduct a successful planetary encounter. The first successful spacecraft in the NASA Mariner program, it was a simplified version of the Block I spacecraft of the Ranger program and an exact copy of Mariner 1. The missions of Mariner 1 and 2 spacecraft are together sometimes known as the Mariner R missions. The probes had originally been intended to launch on the Atlas Centaur, but that vehicle was not ready in time for the missions, forcing NASA to use the Atlas Agena, which had a much smaller payload capacity, and necessitated greatly simplified probes with a minimum of instrumentation. On this day in 2014 died Benno Pludra. He was a German children's author. He was born in Emgunberg, now Lochhammer West. Pludra wrote narratives and novels for children and teenagers. On this day in 2013 died William Norman. He was an Australian television journalist, who hosted the ABC Current Affairs program This Day Tonight. On this day in 2009 died Sergey Vladimirovich Mikhalkov. He was a Soviet and Russian author of children's books and satirical fables. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. D1. Marcus Aurelius.